The ACC has long been known as the conference of quarterbacks. Has the quarterback play actually exceeded expectations this year?
You are Locked On ACC, your daily podcast on the Atlantic Coast Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Shout out to the everydayers, and thank you so much for making Locked On ACC your first listen and your first watch today. We're available free wherever you get your podcasts. We're free on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Place your first $5 bet, and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. He is Kenton Gibbs from Locked On Wolfpack. I am Alex Dono from Locked On Canes. We're talking ACC quarterbacks on this episode, best and worst quarterback situations in the conference, and whether for all 17 football teams, if their quarterback play has met expectations, exceeded, or in certain cases fallen way below of expectations in this one. And so, Kenton, I was looking this up today, which is encouraging for the ACC. They're living up to that conference of quarterbacks moniker. So top 10 passers in FBS football in terms of passing yards. The ACC's got 3 in the top 10. The SEC's only got 2. The Big 10 only has 2. The Big 12 has 2. There's a couple of group of 5 quarterbacks that snuck in there. So with Cam Ward at the top of the list, Tyler Shuck at number 10, and I don't want to forget Kyle McCord, who's been lighting it up at number 7. The ACC has 3 of the top 10 passers in the entire FBS right now.
Yeah, ultimately, how strange is the ACC in that we all said this year, oh man, these quarterbacks are such wild cards. They're unknowns. Which Cam Ward are we going to see? Hey, Kyle McCord, a guy who I was down on openly. I openly admit I watched him play. He's changed my opinion. He's been a guy who's shown up and shown out. We knew Shuck could do it if healthy, and they've kept him healthy. They've kept him healthy at a very high degree out there in the Ville. And so you're looking around and saying the quarterback situation for a lot of these teams is very positive. But even if you look at some of the teams where their quarterbacks weren't just like this guy's played up, it's been quarterback changes. SMU's quarterback, Kevin Jennings, is one of, I want to say, the conference's top 40 or so rushers. And yet, he's a guy that didn't even start the season as the guy. He didn't go down to ACC Media Days as the guy. So I think it's very interesting to see how a lot of these different quarterback situations have developed, like you talked about earlier with CJ Bailey and all that with injury. There's been plenty of, shuffling and moving and grooving in terms of quarterback rooms. But today, we're going to break down each and every one of them and how they've looked so far.
Well, let's start with the team that's at the top of the ACC standings right now with a 5-0 conference record, and it's the Clemson Tigers. Now, Kenton, you and I have both said our mea culpas about Cade Klubnik,
Yes.
and we thought we were proven right in that opening game against Georgia, where the entire Clemson offense, Klubnik included, didn't do anything. Since then, Klubnik has been excellent. I love his touchdown to interception ratio, which is something that really stands out. 20 touchdown passes, which is second in the ACC, to just 3 interceptions. He's up to 1,836 yards on the season, 66.7% completions. And, he's not only, because we were kind of wondering, like, if Clemson was really going to succeed this year, would Klubnik be like a really good game manager? He's actually been one of the reasons why they've been winning football games since dropping their opening out-of-conference game.
I want people to think about this because I was one of the guys who I would wholeheartedly admit, hey, I was out. I didn't believe. I gave up on Cade very early. He is the only quarterback in the conference, only one in the conference, including Cam Ward, to have over 20 touchdowns and a 6-to-1 or better touchdown to interception ratio. He's the only one. Him and Cam are the only 2 that have 20 or more touchdowns, but Cam Ward has a slightly higher interception rate. I can admit I was wrong here. Hey, don't let this black turtleneck fool you. I am not Morpheus. I do not know all. I'm just a guy. And this guy was just damn wrong about Cade Klubnik because he has shown up and shown out. That Georgia game was it. I'll say this. How many times, Donald, have we seen a team get decimated like that, and then all of a sudden the entire program falls apart?
Oh,
This
yeah, a lot. Yeah.
this Clemson team appears to be cut from a different cloth because they were dominated in a way nationally in front of the world stage, and everybody's putting a fork in them. They're done. It's over. They are so done. No portal, no chance. And they rally together and they say, hey, we don't need more than what's in this room. These guys that are in this room were enough to turn around and make whatever we need to happen. They played fantastic ball since then, particularly at this quarterback position. Cade Klubnik has shown out to be one of the stars of this conference.
Yeah, so the quarterback situation at Clemson with Cade Klubnik has exceeded our expectations. The same can be said for Cam Ward at Miami. Now, I know that, I know some people might say, well, he was preseason player of the year and quarterback of the year, but what he's been doing out there is nothing short of magical. He leads the entire nation with his 2,538 passing yards, 24 touchdown passes already to 5 interceptions. It's not quite the Cade Klubnik ratio, but it's very close to that. That's
good,
one touchdown under a 6-to-1 ratio, and he's completing 68.7% of his passes so far. He's already had to do some razzle dazzle, in games where either he started out poorly or Miami's defense really didn't show up. He's had to lead a couple of massive fourth quarter comebacks already this year. But yeah, even though the expectations were high for Cam Ward, he has still exceeded those.
Absolutely. Like you talked about, a damn near 5-to-1 interception, a touchdown interception ratio. And not only that, like you talked about, he uses his legs strategically and perfectly. It's never a moment where I'm like, oh, he don't know what the hell going on. He's just pulling it down and running. He runs when he has to in big, big moments. And even beyond that, quick question, Dono. Where was he in terms of Heisman odds to start the season off? What was he? 5th, 6th, 7th, somewhere down there in that
I think he was just around the top 10, like 10th, 12th, something like that. So yeah, he's climbed.
Even worse than
he's
that,
climbed way up.
Worse.
Yeah.
So the expectation nationally was that he was going to be about somewhere in 10 to 12. Where is he now in those odds, Dono? Just out of curiosity.
Number one.
His
jersey number.
To hell with anybody who's going to lie on that man and say he has not exceeded expectations. Take off your burgundy and gold glasses. The man is a baller. He's a stud. He's been everything that everybody thought he was going to be plus some. He's phenomenal. He's exceeded expectations.
By the way, you notice as we're doing these quarterback situations in order of the ACC standings, not a coincidence that the teams that are near the top have the best quarterback situations in the conference, because
who could have thought
I would also say very, very good, exceeded expectations for number 22 SMU, who's third place right now in the ACC, especially since, as you mentioned, there's been a couple of quarterback situations out there, SMU included, where it wasn't the guy who was supposed to be their starting quarterback. It was supposed to be Preston Stone. He did start the first couple of games. They benched him after the BYU game. He still gets some work in here and there, but Kevin Jennings has been the guy, and he has grabbed that opportunity. And Jennings so far this year, like, he's not near the top of the quarterback in passing. A lot of that has to do with his dual threat capabilities and the fact that he didn't start the first couple of games, but 1,336 passing yards, 9 passing touchdowns on the season. And he is one of the big reasons why SMU is right near the top of the standings in the ACC.
Not only is he all of those things, but I want to tell people something right now. Technically speaking, and I know this is going to hurt some feelings, technically speaking, he has met expectations. He has exceeded expectations for who he is. He has exceeded expectations for, what we expected of, hey, if this team has to bench Preston Stone for any reason, we're expecting there to be a drop-off. He's exceeded in that realm. But coming into the season, Donna, were you concerned about Preston Stone or that quarterback room for SMU?
No.
I wasn't.
Not at all.
I wasn't at all. Yeah. I thought, hey, he's going to be a really good quarterback in this league. And I just worry if he can stay upright. To me, the groups that have exceeded expectations for SMU, that defense, I have not seen a defense that they're not the biggest guys, but when it comes to stopping the run, they come in droves. They commit bodies to that thing in a way that I'm like, well, damn, man, somebody need to be able to hit them with a play action, but they're so disciplined, even in their run fits, that it's tough to get that. offensive line-wise, they've been much better than expected as well. So Kevin Jennings has exceeded expectations for who he is. But if we're looking at the overarching theme of coming into the season, what do we expect from SMU's quarterback room to now? Yeah. I think he's met expectations. Yeah. I think he's met expectations. But that's a great credit to Kevin. That's a great credit to him. So I don't want anybody hearing it because y'all know I love me some SMU. Don't ban me now. Y'all know I need to take a trip to Dallas. I need to take a trip down there to go to one of those games. But he's met expectations for what we believe their quarterback situation will be coming into the season.
That's an interesting take. And I have an interesting take on Virginia Tech, who we're going to get to in a little bit. Because next on the list, the Pitt Panthers, Duke Blue Devils, Syracuse Orange, Virginia Tech Hokies, Georgia Tech also in that mix as well. You want to keep it locked right here, my friends. Conference of Quarterbacks. We're only getting started on this brand new episode of Locked On ACC. And if you're a small business owner, you're only getting started with LinkedIn Jobs, because when you're hiring, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring, by the way. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Thank you so much for making this episode of Locked On ACC your first listen and your first watch today. For your next listen, make sure you check out our other shows. Kenton also hosts Locked On Wolfpack. He and Grayson do an awesome job breaking down everything NC State. Got a lot of excitement there with CJ Bailey stepping up. I host Locked On Canes, where, of course, the Cam Ward excitement has been going on all season long. We'll see if that continues against the Florida State Seminoles this week. And spoiler alert, the Florida State quarterback situation has not been so good. We'll get to that one in a little bit. Another one where definitely has exceeded expectations, Kenton, their entire team has exceeded, are the 19th ranked Pitt Panthers. You know, and again, I know that like he's come back down to earth a little bit with his numbers, but he's still winning games. Eli Holstein, who was not supposed to be their starting quarterback preseason, grabbed that job right before the season started, and he's been what, 5 times ACC Rookie of the Week. I mean, that quarterback, I don't know what the expectation was preseason, but it wasn't this high.
It couldn't have been this high. And another fun fact about Eli Holstein and this team and what he's done, he's one of the leading passers in the ACC as well. In terms of his passer rating, he is, I want to say, a top 5 or 6 guy, and he's exactly number 6, with slightly behind Tyler Shough. So this is a young man that when we looked at the quarterback position overall, did you expect much from Nate Yarnell?
No.
Oh, okay. So when you tell me, oh, he's unseated for this guy who has not played a snap of relevant football in college, I'm not like, man, I'll tell you what, that young man's supposed to go on and win multiple awards. I said, boy, I don't know if Narduzzi survives this year. This is going to be rough. This is going to be a really tough year for them. And lo and behold, all Eli Holstein has come out and do has been captain cool in the clutch. He has shown up and shown out when this team needed him. Anybody who wouldn't say that he exceeded expectations, I want to know, what the hell were your expectations for that quarterback room coming into the year? It got to be Nate Yarnell's parents got to be the only people who thought more of this quarterback room before the season. That's it.
Okay, so now we move on to the Duke Blue Devils, and I'm going to say Malik Murphy. I'm going to say he hasn't, in my opinion, has not exceeded or fallen short. I just think he's met expectations, Kenton. Now, I would say Duke as a team has obviously exceeded the expectations with their 6-1 start, but most of that has been the defense. And listen, Malik Murphy has been fine. It's kind of what I expected him to be, watching him a little bit at Texas last year, but I'm not going to say he has exceeded or fallen short.
Here's the thing, right? Malik Murphy and your projection of whether or not they've exceeded, fallen short, met the expectation is about what you thought about him coming in. And
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I didn't think much. I think he's exceeded my expectation.
Okay.
If we're talking a national expectation, I'd say maybe he's at it. I'd say he's just about met for everybody. He's been good enough. There are 3 categories of quarterbacks that you win because of. Those are your Cam Wards of the world, where it's like you give him chicken scratch, he's gonna make you a chicken sandwich somehow. Then you have the quarterbacks that you win with, where it's like, we don't need you to be great, we don't need you to be terrible, just don't be in the way, which I think Malik Murphy is. And then you've got your quarterbacks you got to win in spite of, where you're just begging them, please don't blow this game for us. Please. You've got the talent around you. Just don't blow it. And Malik has not been in that category. So I'd say he's met expectations in my opinion.
Okay. So we get next to the Syracuse Orange, who are 2-1 in ACC play so far. Kyle McCord transferred from Ohio State. And, a lot of people, myself included, I think you included, felt like he was really holding the Buckeyes back last year. And maybe he was, but he has been a different quarterback this year, Kenton. And he's like in yards per game, he's just a few yards behind Cam Ward per game so far as a passer. He's thrown for 2,160 yards so far this season, 19 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He's 7th nationally in passing yards. Maybe we agree. You let me know. I think we agree. Kyle McCord and Syracuse's quarterback situation has exceeded the expectations this year.
Hey, listen. See, Dono just likes torturing me, and that's the problem here, because he said, maybe we agree. I done said I was wrong about the man 1,000 times on there. I'll say it 1,001. I'll say it 1,001 if Dono wants to hear it.
People might be watching this or listening to this for the first time. If they haven't heard our last episodes, I just want you to say it again.
See, this is like the Osley brothers. Say it again, girl. Say it one more time. He just want to hear it one more time. So I'm saying one more time. Kyle McCord has exceeded my expectations by a lot. He has shown up for that Syracuse team in a massive way. And I think the biggest thing that I've seen out of McCord, where I'm like, hey, you got to give him his props, is watching him in the Big Ten, he would have these McCord moments. He would have those moments where he would be the quarterback you had to win in spite of.
Right.
He has taken those away to a major degree. I'm not saying he hasn't had any. I'm not saying that. Don't give me the line. But he has taken them down in such a meaningful way. Because if he had 1 or 2 against NC State, I have no doubt in my mind NC State wins that football game. He just didn't. He just didn't have that throw where you were just like, what the hell were you looking at, man? He's prevented the terrible, boneheaded mistakes. You got to give him his credit. 2 thumbs up. He's exceeded in my book.
All right, so now we get to the Virginia Tech Hokies, who are 2-1 in ACC play. It pains me to say this because I think if you're just going strictly by talent, I think he's probably top 3 in the conference. But
yeah,
I'm gonna say Kyron Drones. He's fallen short of expectations so far. And Kenton, like, the brilliance is absolutely there. Like, I got to watch him in person for the first time this year when Virginia Tech played Miami, and he made some incredible plays in that game. Like, and maybe if that Hail Mary had been completed, people would feel a little bit differently about Drones, and he put the football in the right place. But for all the brilliance we've seen, where at times in that game, like he and Cam Ward, who are cousins, were going like toe to toe, making big play after big play, the consistency has not been there. And I haven't seen enough big games. And obviously, like, Virginia Tech just got their biggest win of the season, but that was basically all by Tootin in the running game, with Tootin putting up 266 yards. So I know, because I've seen it, that Kyron Drones is capable of more consistency and more brilliance than he's put up so far. But I'm going to say so far this year, he has fallen short of the expectations. He's 14th in the ACC in passing right now, which I would not have expected at this point. And it's not like he's missed any starts or anything. 1,319 passing yards, 9 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. Maybe this is because my expectation was so high, but he's fallen short so far.
Not only that, he's not on pace to hit most of the things that he did last year. Last year, you looking at 17 passing touchdowns to 3 interceptions. This year, we're looking at 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Last year, we saw 818 rushing yards. This year, we're looking at 318, more than halfway through the season. I don't know what else to tell folks other than you are lying to yourself if you're saying that this young man has not disappointed to a high degree. Remember when I talked about Cam Ward and said he uses his legs strategically? It's never, oh, damn, I can't make a second read. I don't know how to get from 1 to 2. I got to go.
Right.
There have been multiple times this year that it just broke my heart because, and I'm going to be fully honest when I say this, and I know some people are going to get upset about it. I'm very slow to criticize any quarterback in this regard, but especially black quarterbacks, because the statement that's been thrown upon him in terms of he struggles to read a defense. He struggles to get from read 1 to read 2. But there have been moments like that with Kyron Drones that are so frustrating. It's so much like, how do you not find somebody there? And don't get me wrong, has his offensive line been a God squad that's set him up in great positions this year? No. Have the pass catchers done amazing things to where it's like, hey, Kyron, just hit the open man and you'll be okay? No. But he was supposed to be in that first category of I'm winning because of you, and he hasn't been. He hasn't been, so he has definitely not met expectations.
Help me out with the next two teams in the ACC standings. Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets and the Louisville Cardinals. Now, in the case of Georgia Tech, I feel like for me, because we really saw Haynes King coming on last year. I think he's met expectations. I don't think he's exceeded or fallen short. But then Tyler Shuck with Louisville, he's exceeded my expectations. And it's not only the fact that so far, 7 games into the season, he's managed to stay healthy, which is something he has struggled with, a lot of bad luck in recent years at Texas
Absolutely.
Tech. But even with being on the field, Shuck to me still has been pretty consistently making the type of throws that say he is exceeded for me.
I'm going to say something that a lot of people aren't going to want to hear, and they're not going to want to believe me because a lot of people watch the box score instead of watching the game. Haynes King and Tyler Shuck have both exceeded my expectations.
Okay.
I look at Haynes King and I say, that's a guy last year, he was just a gunslinger supreme. He had that Brett Favre in him, that, oh, no, oh, yes. Or a lot of times it's, oh, no, why are you doing this? He would have those moments a lot. I believe he led the league in interceptions last year at 16. Do you know how many he's on pace to throw this year, Donald?
No, how many?
2. He's on pace to throw 2.
Wow.
He's got 1 interception all year to 8 touchdowns. So, and on top of that, guess what he leads all quarterbacks in the conference in? Rushing. He's the leading quarterback rusher.
Really?
More rushing yards than Kyron Drones. Yeah. 6 touchdowns on the ground, 353 yards. He is a guy that you can make an argument that, hey, the team around him has not been great. They have not done amazing things. And again, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Haynes King has just been indefatigable and has been, hey, the offense is going God mode many times this year, because they haven't. There have been moments where they went missing a little bit. I'm looking at the Louisville game. I'm looking at the Notre Dame game. But for the most part, by and large, he has done enough to have them either win the game or be on the brink of winning every single game. And the guys around him have not played excellent ball to the point where I'm like, hey, Haynes, that's on you. So I think Haynes is exceeding. Shuck, just staying healthy, really, was like a lot of people thought really big things about him. And I changed my opinion toward the end of the summer when some fans not only got after me, but they sent me the tape to say, listen, watch this and tell me what you think. And I said, okay, let me watch. Oh, hold on now. There's something there. But I think that he's met the expectation and exceeded a little bit because, again, just staying healthy was the thing. I was so worried about his health. I'm like, dude, go do something else, man. Go enjoy your life doing something else because this game is violent. I know. It was too violent for me. You know what I mean? I got 2 Achilles scars and 2 scars on my left bicep to show it. So I think both of these guys have exceeded expectations.
Well, coming up next, we'll talk about the best of the rest, and we will reveal, suspense, drum roll, who has by far the worst quarterback situation in the ACC. They're not living up to that conference of quarterbacks moniker. You want to keep it locked. Alex Dono and Kenton Gibbs with you on this brand new episode of Locked On ACC. And I already know you're keeping it locked to FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So many big games this weekend. So many player props happening, and NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more right on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. And we love the ACC schedule this week. There's some big favorites like Miami, 20.5-point favorites against the Florida State Seminoles. Maybe if you think the curse might have been broken, because apparently there actually was a Seminole fan that did legitimately eat dog poo. I just saw Kenton's eyes light up backstage. You guys, check out FanDuel.com. It's all right there on America's #1 sportsbook. So yeah, Kenton Gibbs, this morning, I saw a video which does not appear to be doctored in any way. It wasn't Noel 321. It wasn't the other guy who faked his video this week. There was actually a looked like a Florida State student who ate. It was a very, very small amount, but he did eat dog poo. So, like, I don't know. First of all, whether people believe in curses or not, I do. But do you believe that, like, a third individual who was not the original one who made the can this guy break the curse? But somebody really did it, Kenton.
What did they say in Highlander? There can only be one. There can only be one man to fulfill the prophecy. No, 1, 2, 3, we're looking for you. Because it can only be you. You were the one who started this. Nobody else can break this. But I will say this, Donald, your team might need to be on the lookout because maybe the prophecy was broken. Maybe it was broken by this guy. But I'll tell you what, maybe next time let's stick to something milder, right? Like I will eat one whole Arby's meal. It's just as torturous as the dog food or the dog food. It just is less dangerous, a lot less dangerous. I'll eat an entire chicken sandwich and the curly fries, like make it something like that. Man. But yeah, what a time. What a time.
Well, and can we agree that team, the Florida State Seminoles, they've got the worst quarterback situation in the ACC. I mean, their original starter not only got hurt, and we wish DJ Uyungale's got a hand injury. We wish him all the best in his recovery. But had he not gotten hurt, he still probably would have gotten benched at some point. Then it became Brocktober, and Brock Glenn gets his opportunity to play. Let's see how I want to pull up Brock Glenn's numbers so far.
Please don't. You're not going to see anything special in there.
Would you prefer I don't?
I mean, listen, I've got his numbers in front of me.
That's what I was about to say. You got him.
I've got him in front of me. Here's the interesting thing about Florida State as a team. DJU goes 4 touchdowns, 6 interceptions in terms of passing this year.
Right.
Okay. What do you think Brock Glenn has done? Do you think he has a better touchdown interception ratio than every 2 touchdowns you throw 3 picks? What you think, dog?
I think it might be worse.
It's the exact same. 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
DJU, 53.8% completion percentage. You think it gets better or worse under Glenn?
I think it gets worse.
It gets 3.8% worse, 50%.
Oof.
I am sitting here looking at this team's quarterback situation going, y'all may not be the only problem, but I'd be lying if I said y'all wasn't a damn big. I'd be lying if I said, don't worry about it. I saw a meme today that I shared on my Twitter that said DJU is sitting out the rest of the season to focus on preparing to get his CDL.
I saw that.
Brother, get ready to learn some enterprise rental car. I feel like the NIL situation should have set you up to where you can go on and you got a good start in life. You can probably get you a nice little house in Florida or, I don't know if that's enough to get you a nice house in California these days, but you can try it. You can try it. I know he's from Inland Empire, I believe. That's where he is. Or, you can try getting a house out there. I'm telling you, football may not be your calling, brother. And that's no disrespect. That's not, Brock Glenn, Brocktober is Brock over. Because now they're looking at a third quarterback to bring in. I don't know what everybody wants from
Luke. Luke Cromenhawk. It's just like give somebody else a chance. Like when nothing else is working, give somebody else a chance.
This is musical chairs being played with polka music playing in the background with 3 very hefty and non-attractive people playing it together. It's just not fun We don't want to see anybody get the chair. It's just like, turn it off. Make this be over already. Please and thank you.
Oh man. All right. So any other quarterback rooms stand out in a good way? Like, I'm not going to say there's nothing nearly as bad as Florida State.
Nothing.
I know Cal is struggling 0-4 in the ACC, but well, one of the things that stands out about Fernando Mendoza, who definitely has some ability, he's been sacked 28 times, by far the most in the conference. So, you know, Mendoza, he's not been as bad as like Cal's conference record would indicate, in my opinion. Actually, Bachmeier in Wake Forest is putting up pretty good numbers despite their record.
Yeah.
And same thing with Jacoby Criswell at North Carolina. Like he's not the reason why they gave up 70 points to James Madison. So.
Yeah. I want to say this. I know people are expecting me to say, oh, NC State has exceeded. We came into the season expecting a Heisman hopeful, an ACC Player of the Year contender out of our quarterback. We did not expect to come in and say, oh, it's a young guy that's playing great. So NC State is definitely fallen way, way short. But in terms of the best of the rest, in terms of guys who have shown up in a way that you're like, hold on now, that guy's cooked a little bit. Anthony Calandria, come on down.
Yeah.
Come on down, little Tony. You know, I talked about UVA exceeding their Tony quota, and who would have thought that Tony Bennett would be the one to exit stage left? But hell, I'll tell you, with the way Tony Calandria is playing, I get it. I get it because he has been a phenomenal player for them this year. And don't get me wrong. Again, that's another guy. Would I say he's perfect? Would I say he's doing everything right? No. But last year, 13 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. This year, 11-4.
That's great.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that his completion percentage at 62.9 or whatever it is in that area is like perfect and he's good. He has exceeded what I thought, because I thought he's still going to be a Maverick, but he's going to learn a little bit. He's going to reel it in a little bit, and he'll get better over time. The game is starting to slow down for him, and you can see it. He's got UVA competitive. He's got UVA on pace for a bowl game. And I'll tell you what, how many times have you thought to yourself, this game lands squarely on Calandria's shoulders? That, to me, is the greatest moment to say he's exceeded for this reason.
I love it. By the way, I sold Fernando Mendoza a little bit short at Cal because he's putting up better numbers than I realized. He's actually he's 5th in the league in passing. So I would say for a team that's bottom of the conference,
the team has failed him. The team has failed him,
but he's exceeded expectations, Mendoza. But I like the Calandria shout out as well. And always a great time here on Locked On ACC. He is Kenton Gibbs. Check him out on Locked On Wolfpack. I am Alex Dono. Check me out on Locked On Canes. And we'll talk to you guys again tomorrow on another episode of Locked On ACC, part of the awesome Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.